When I first came to fish for Zander in America, I had no idea that this fish would change my entire understanding of spinning fishing. Here it is called walleye, and it is a true icon of freshwater angling. In some states, people chase it with the same passion as largemouth bass. The fact that impressed me the most is that in North America, the annual walleye catch is measured in millions of fish. It is one of the most popular species for recreational fishing, and for good reason, because this fish is incredibly smart and cautious. Americans even call walleye the king of Twilight. Its best feeding hours are dawn and sunset. That is when it moves from deep water to the shallows to hunt. I quickly realized that walleye fishing is not about luck. It is about knowledge, patience, and constant observation. If you think it's enough to just throw a jig into the water, you're mistaken. In the US, walleye belongs to the genus Sander, with the main species being Sander vitreus. It is the largest member of the perch family in North America, capable of exceeding 10 kilograms in weight and almost a meter in length. The second common species is Sander canadensis, or sauger. It is a smaller relative that often inhabits muddy rivers with darker coloring and distinctive spots along its body. Walleye and sauger frequently hybridize, producing fish known as saugeye. They are intentionally bred for stocking waters, combining the sauger's hardiness with the size of classic walleye. Each of these species behaves a little differently. If you don't understand which one you are targeting, it's easy to make mistakes with lure choice or depth. Classification is not a formality, it is the key to success. You can find walleye almost everywhere in America, from the Great Lakes to small Midwestern rivers. It prefers cold, clean, well-oxygenated water. Minnesota, Wisconsin, and North Dakota are especially famous for it. I've noticed that walleye loves structure. Rocky ridges, sharp depth changes, submerged timber. That's where I always begin my search. During the day, walleye usually holds at depths of 5 to 15 meters, but at dusk, it moves closer to shore. These hours are pure gold to me. American anglers actively use fish finders. Without this technology, finding a school of walleye in a large lake is almost impossible. Here, technology is not a luxury, but a necessity. Walleye is a nocturnal predator. Its eyes have a special reflective layer that allows it to see in low light, which makes it especially deadly in murky water. I've often watched a walleye approach a lure very slowly, following it for a long time before striking. That's why pauses in the retrieve are so critical. In cold water, walleye becomes sluggish. It won't waste energy and will only bite on the most natural presentation. This is a true test of patience. In spring, walleye moves to spawning areas. At this time, it is aggressive but also vulnerable, and many states enforce strict regulations. I always follow the rules. My favorite method is jigging. It's a classic in the US soft plastic minnow-shaped lures work almost everywhere. I choose the most sensitive rod possible. A walleye bite often feels like a light touch or a slight slack in the line. With a rough setup, you'll never feel it. Americans love trolling. Slowly pulling crankbaits along drop-offs produces consistent results, and I've caught some of my biggest fish that way. At night, glow-in-the-dark lures are popular. They shine underwater and attract walleye from a distance. It almost looks magical. The most popular lures are twisters and shads. Natural colors work best, white, silver, olive, but sometimes walleye prefers bright acidic shades. Crankbaits perform well in shallow water. They create strong vibration that walleye detects with its lateral line, helping it find prey in muddy conditions. Live bait is still extremely popular. A small minnow under a float often produces trophy fish. It's old school, but it never fails. I always carry a wide selection of lures because walleye can change its preferences daily. Flexibility is my main strategy. Spring is trophy time when walleye comes close to shore to feed aggressively, but it's also when respecting the natural cycle matters most. In summer, walleye moves deep to escape the heat and light. Without a fish finder, I feel blind. Autumn is my favorite season. Walleye feeds heavily before winter and the strikes become sharp and confident. In winter, ice fishing for walleye is widespread in America, a whole culture with its own traditions. Even in freezing weather, anglers never lose their passion. I always tell beginners not to rush. Walleye hates chaos. A slow retrieve beats any speed. My second piece of advice is attentiveness. Sometimes a bite feels like the lure simply hanging in the water, and that's the moment you must not miss. I've learned more on the water than from any book. Practice shapes a real angler. Every mistake is a step toward mastery. Don't be afraid to experiment. What works in one state may fail in another. Walleye has character. In America, walleye fishing is a family tradition. You often see a grandfather, father, and son standing on the shore together. It's more than a hobby, it's a way of life. There are countless tournaments with huge prizes, but the atmosphere is what matters most. A community of people who speak the same language. Americans take conservation seriously. The catch and release principle is almost sacred, which is why walleye populations remain strong. I always release big walleye. It's my way of thanking nature, and each such moment fills me with pride. Walleye has taught me patience. It showed me that fishing is not about quick results, but about the journey. Every bite must be earned. Every trip for walleye is an adventure. I never know what awaits me on the next cast, and that is what keeps me in the game. And when I stand on the shore of a great lake at sunset, I realize it's more than fishing. It's my dialogue with nature, and I want you to hear it too.